Hey, what's going on, everyone? I want to start off by saying that I'm overwhelmed by the response that my previous video got. I was responding to the racism and metal, and I don't have very many subscribers, so I was expecting to have like just a few hundred hits. I was like, I haven't recorded a video in a while, and as of right now, last time I checked, it's over 60,000 views. And I was just like, what? Like, where is this posted? Is this like on Reddit or Facebook or something? I don't get it. But it's awesome, and I appreciate all the love and support. I appreciate all the criticism and everything like that. Seeing other people's point of views, it's been an experience, man, and it's just keep growing, so it's cool. But okay, now that that's out of the way, I wasn't gonna talk about Oscars So White, but it keeps coming up on everything. Even some of my close friends, and some people at work were talking about it, and of course they want to get my view on it too because they know that I love movies and stuff like that. And the reason why I wasn't going to talk about it is because it wasn't really an important issue to me. Oscars, I watched the Academy Awards, not going to lie. But the thing is, I don't really give a fuck. Like, say, if the Oscars were to just be burnt down or shut down forever, I'd be like, whatever. I barely watch TV as it is, so it wouldn't really matter to me. But then, so I started doing some research on it, and I started watching some videos. Started watching some interviews with Will Smith and Spike Lee. Started seeing, and Jada, and also seeing other people comments and stuff like Idris Elba and Michael Moore and just stuff like that. And I was like, okay, I really want to see what it was all about. And one thing that made me want to talk about was some of the things that like Will Smith said. And I'm gonna take this as serious as possible. I'm not gonna just completely shit all over it like I usually do when I see things that are just really stupid to me. But and that's because one thing that Will Smith said, and I do agree with, when it comes to America and how people perceive us around the world, it's all about Hollywood. It's Hollywood is America technically. Like when you go around the United States, a lot of people always talk about, oh, rich people, Hollywood, and that. Like that's when you made it and shit. And well, sure, that's the case whether you agree it or not. I mean, that's just kind of how people view us wherever you go. So what he was saying, and what a lot of people are saying, like if you don't know what Oscars So White is that like all the 20-something nominees in all the the categories, all happen to be white. So there's no diversity and people are losing their minds. And normally I would like say like I don't give a shit, because I don't want there to be somebody that wins or nominated just because they're a minority. Or if you want to be more honest about it, it's not even about being a minority, it's about being black. Because the people that are really outraged or whatever, they're black. And the people that are speaking out, they're talking about black people mostly. Because if you really think about it, is there like Asian or Hispanic people really coming out and boycotting or whatever? Is that really happening? Are people saying, Asians are a minority in America. We need more Asians to win. Hey, Donnie Yins has come out with It Man. He better win in 2017. Because he's Asian, or maybe Mike Tyson since he's in it too. I don't know. I'm like it's silly to me. It's really silly. But I understand, like, say, where one thing that Will Smith said, and I'm using his interview as a reference mostly because he doesn't piss me off as much. And one thing he was saying is like, he's also worried about kids growing up in America, maybe kids that are like, of color, black kids or something growing up and not really having people to look up to and seeing like, oh, this is how things are. This is how things are going to be. So like maybe don't even try because you're not going to win. And one thing I want to say to that is I understand where he's coming from. Like say me being, when I was a small, kid, I did gravitate towards like say I'm a big into like superheroes. And I did gravitate towards like say some of the black superheroes because there wasn't very many. And it's not just because they were black, not solely, but because they were good. Great example is Jon Stewart, the Black Green Lantern. Great character, and it also made me feel like, yeah, I can be that guy someday. So I kind of get where Will Smith is coming from. However, and here's the biggest however to me, do you really need an award to validate your skill or how badass you are, how good you are, or anything like that? In my opinion, fuck no. Not even a little bit. And that all comes down to people all across the board, any fucking color. It doesn't matter. Like, say, for example, everybody always bitching about Leonardo DiCaprio not getting one. He's not winning an Oscar or something like that. Maybe he'll get one this year for The Revenant. But the thing is to say, like, and he says it himself. He's like, I don't need an Oscar, you know, like, I'm sure he would love to win one, but he doesn't need one. And that's how like, I feel about, like, a lot of people where, should you really even give a shit? Like, should you really be like, oh no, I don't have an Oscar. Nobody's nominated that's black or of color. It's the end of the world. It's stupid. So another thing that they're trying to do is say, okay, so what we need to do is the people that vote, we need to mix it up. You know, it's just probably a bunch of old people that don't watch like the minority based films or whatever. Like they were saying, some people like, oh, a lot of them didn't even watch Straight Outta Compton and stuff like that, and so no nominees, and you can get all outraged about that. But you know, I have a friend that's really into the Hollywood stuff, like big into Hollywood. And one thing that he told me a couple years ago, you guys remember the movie 12 Years a Slave? Well, I didn't see it. There's a lot of movies I didn't see. But he told me that a lot of people that vote on the, you know, the board, they voted for that movie because just how important it was. You know, it's so important. However, meanwhile, a lot of them didn't even see the movie. So it's just, you know, politics in general, where it's you're getting a handout for being like, oh, it's so important, you know, this in history and that, but you didn't even see the movie. You know, therein lies a problem too. So there's problems on both sides where it's just silly. Like, why is there politics in movies? And we know there's politics in the movie industry in Hollywood. You gotta pretty much campaign to get your movie nominated, you know, and stuff like that. So, and one thing that Idris Elba said is something about like, oh, we need to do more. Like he's talking about like black people and stuff. Like we need to do more to get recognized, to, you know, to kind of like get in there. And that's kind of how I feel, because do you really want to get handed something? Like, say for example, for the people that agree with Oscars So White, how would you feel if next year all the nominees across the board are all black? How would you feel? You know, there's probably some of you that would be delighted, and I think you're fucking stupid, because in my opinion, that would be such a like hand me out, such a pandering, such a non-achievement, you know, just because you're black, you know, now you get nominated. I mean, that's not the way it should be. I mean, you should not feel happy. And lastly, what I want to touch on is the whole boycotting thing. Now, some people are saying they're not boycotting, they're just simply not going. Nah. Yeah. Yeah, come on. So I want to say to the people that think that's a good idea, and you know, what do you think you'll gain from that? You know, you think like next year things are gonna just be like completely fair, like as far as the voting and stuff goes, or do you think, you know, you guys are just gonna get some hand-me-outs because like we want to avoid this, we don't want any beef or nothing like this again to happen? You think that's what's, because in my opinion that's what's gonna happen, not anything good. And also, for the people, like, especially the black people like Spike Lee and Will Smith and other people that are boycotting, don't you think this is going to further separate, you know, just like solidify the whiteness in the Oscars by not even showing up? Like, you're so bitter that you're not even going to partake in it, you know? I think that's fucking stupid. I think there's a lot of people that were nominated that worked their asses off to get that, you know, and you should show some fucking respect and just go, you know? Yeah, maybe it's bullshit in the back of your head that nothing happened, but it's like, hey man, you got to keep pushing forward instead of whining and crying for, I need it to be my way, it's my time. Or it's like, make it your time, you know? Somebody that's white as hell like Leo DiCaprio cannot get an Oscar to save his life, you know? And he's not whining and complaining. Maybe inside he is. And that's where I think you guys should keep it. The people that are complaining about the lack of diversity, you can keep it inside and do what you got to do to get there, you know? If you really feel like there is some type of injustice, then yeah, then try to get into that job. Why don't you actually try to get better roles, you know? Not just like these films that aren't going to be like those hipster, artsy type of like, oh, massive achievements that get nominated, you know? Like, say, a great movie that I saw a year ago or something like that was Birdman. I thought that movie was fantastic, you know? Like, hey, let's try to get some black roles into that movie or something like that. And I think there would have been a great chance for a nomination. So, I mean, for the most part, I don't give a shit. You know, Oscars So White to me was kind of eye-rolling, wasting my time. A lot of people that are, probably in the Black Lives Matter movement are getting really pissed off and stuff like that. Where I was like, I don't even want to fucking deal with it. Especially, I got a lot of things going on right now, and I was like, that is just such low on the totem pole. But people are really interested in that, and so I thought I would give my 2 cents. And let me know what you guys think below, and I'll see you guys next time.